I was excommunicated by my family and fiancé after my sister sabotaged me. I'm lost right now and don't know what to do. I was 21 when my fiancé asked me to marry him, and I thought my life couldn't get any better. We'd known each other since preschool, and our families were incredibly close. He'd come over for dinner every night, and I'd do the same at his house. He had no siblings, but I have 2 older sisters, and he was as close with them as he was with me. Growing up together, everything felt perfect. When we started dating, it felt like the entire family celebrated, and we were in a blissful bubble. He helped me with a lot of my anxiety, and when I gained a bit of weight and my mom criticized me, saying he might leave me, he stood up for me. He told her that he loved me for who I was, not for my appearance, even though he always said I was the most beautiful girl in the world to him. We got engaged after 6 months, and everything seemed perfect until the incident. My middle sister, Nikki, was always cold toward me. She never showed affection, and I couldn't relate to her at all. Despite this, she was really close to my fiancé, saying she saw him as a brother. He helped her through some rough patches, like battling addiction and even some legal trouble. She and I had always been at odds. I loved her because she was my sister, but as a person, we just never clicked. Out of nowhere, Nikki asked if I wanted to go clubbing with her. She said she felt bad for being distant, and I agreed, figuring it would be a chance to bond. Clubbing wasn't my thing, but after a few drinks, I started loosening up and having a good time. Things were going well until Nikki spotted a guy across the room. She went up to him and was gone for a few minutes, and when she came back, she had a sour look on her face. I asked what happened, and she said the guy didn't want her number, but he wanted mine. I told her he was a loser, that she could have anyone, but she didn't care. She insisted she needed to use the bathroom and that we'd leave right after. An hour later, still waiting, I'd had several more drinks and started feeling dizzy and lightheaded. I figured Nikki had left and decided to call it a night. As I was walking out, I ran into a guy Nikki had briefly dated. He offered to share a cab with me, and I agreed. I wasn't feeling great, and I just wanted to get home. I couldn't find my phone in my purse, and the dizziness kept getting worse. I don't remember much after that. The next thing I knew, I woke up on a couch with a headache, confused. It took me a moment to realize I was at Nikki's friend's place, not my own. My phone was dead, sitting on a glass table in front of me. When he saw I was awake, he explained that I had passed out in the cab, and since he didn't know my parents' address, he took me to his place and put me on the couch. He gave me some water and painkillers, and I thanked him. I told him I needed to get home, and he called me a cab. When I got home, my whole family was waiting for me. My parents, Nikki, my fiancé, and his parents were all there, and they looked so serious. I thought they were worried about me, but as soon as I spoke, my fiancé asked, "How could you do this to me?" I was stunned. I tried explaining, but he accused me of cheating. I couldn't believe it. Nikki spoke up and said I was lying. She claimed I'd been flirting with guys all night, and when she went to the bathroom, she saw me leave with her friend. She showed me a photo of me leaving, and yes, the photo looked bad, but I was so drunk I didn't even realize his hand was on my back. My fiancé was yelling, and both our moms were crying. I asked Nikki to call her friend, and he confirmed the truth, but when she called him, he said something completely different. He claimed I begged him to take me back to his place, and we slept together. That was when I lost it. I screamed at Nikki, knowing she had orchestrated the whole thing to make me look bad. I begged my fiancé to believe me, but he wouldn't. He just shook his head and walked out. After everyone left, my mom slapped me and told me to leave. I was kicked out, with no chance to grab my things. I ended up staying with a friend for a few nights, calling my fiancé over and over, crying, but he never answered. My mom texted me, telling me I was no longer welcome and that she couldn't believe I'd done such a thing. She threw my stuff out. I was homeless in less than a day and a half, with no one to turn to. Everyone took Nikki's side, and I was left alone. For weeks, I tried everything to get my fiancé and family back, but nothing worked. The breaking point came when Christmas rolled around. I went to my parents' house, hoping to make amends, but no one answered the door. My friend then called to tell me she saw on Facebook that my family was celebrating Christmas in another state. They had posted pictures, everyone was there, my parents, sisters, grandparents, and even my fiancé and his family. It hit me hard. I cried for days and then blocked them all. I returned my engagement ring and cut ties with everyone. I had a friend who knew someone a couple hours away looking for help at his restaurant. He had a place above it for rent, and I took the opportunity to start fresh. I moved quickly, took the job, and began saving money. The apartment was small, and I worked long hours, but things started improving. A few years later, I was living in a much better place, still working at the restaurant as an assistant manager. Then, one day, I got a knock on my door. It was my ex-fiancé. My heart dropped. I wanted to run into his arms, but I remembered all the pain. I almost slammed the door in his face, but he stopped me and begged me to let him explain. He said Nikki had gotten married and confessed she lied about everything, that she had fallen in love with someone else and realized what she'd done. He told me he had found me through a friend of mine, and now my family was trying to reach out. I told him I needed time to think. He left, and I've been a wreck since. I'll never forgive Nikki. She could rot for all I care, but my fiancé and family didn't know she was lying. Still, they abandoned me too quickly, without hearing my side. I don't know what to do. Should I forgive them? Should I let them back into my life? Any advice would be appreciated. The last time I posted, my fiancé had just shown up at my door after 2 years, saying my family wanted to reconnect after my sister sabotaged me to make it look like I cheated. Well, here's an update. I never called back to my ex. I wasn't sure what to do, but eventually, he must have passed my number to my parents because they texted, asking to meet up. I never responded and had planned on setting up a Zoom meeting, but that wasn't necessary. My dad showed up at my door. When I saw him standing there, I immediately got sick. He insisted on cleaning it up, and when he was done, we sat down. I couldn't hold it anymore, and I just started crying. My emotions were all over the place. The smell of his cologne brought back so many memories, and I wasn't ready for that. He tried to hug me, but I pushed him away, asking what he was doing here. He said he and my mother are getting a divorce. He told me he begged my mom to get in touch with me the moment I left, but she refused. She said I was acting like a child, and if I wanted to leave them after everything, then I could handle it on my own. I asked him how long it took them to notice I was gone. He said they got home after New Year's Eve, planning to invite me over to talk, but when they tried to reach me, my friend told them I left, and she didn't know where I was. I asked him why they didn't listen to my side of things and why they threw me away so easily. He started crying. He said he never wanted things to escalate like this, and he wished more than anything he could take it all back. I told him that when they found out Nikki was using drugs and dropped out of high school, they didn't throw her away. They took her on a trip to get her clean, and when that didn't work, they kept defending her. But me? I was gone in a day. I reminded him that my mother threw my stuff out. He said everything was still there, and she lied about it. Then I asked about Nikki. He said she was dead to him. He had blocked her and my mother and had been on my ex's case to find me. I was surprised when he said my ex caved and finally gave him my number. He told me he'd never show up again unless I gave him permission. I told him not to come back without me asking, and he agreed. He asked what happens now, and I told him honestly that I didn't know, but that I couldn't just forget how badly he hurt me. I talked about how much it stung to see my family so happy without me and how hard it's been to process everything. We were both crying by the end of it, but it felt good to finally let everything out. My dad said he knew of a few places around and offered to help me find a better apartment. He also said he could help me get a better job, but I told him no. I wasn't leaving my current job. My boss had helped me so much, and I owed him everything. I told my dad I didn't want him to do anything for me, but that I would be open to reconciliation. However, it would be on my terms, and it would take a long time for me to trust him again if I ever did. He said he'd do anything to make it right. I asked him why Nikki did all this, and he explained that she thought my ex deserved better and wanted to break off the engagement. She loved him like a brother, but in her mind, she thought he was sacrificing too much. So, she had her friend escort me out of the club, get pictures, and take me back to his place, all to make it look like something happened. He said nothing sexual took place. I went to sleep on the sofa, and he stayed up playing video games all night, apparently with proof of that. My dad said he would get my stuff from my mom's house, but I told him I didn't want it. I then asked about Nikki's husband. My dad said my mom had been keeping everything quiet, but he had his number and wrote it down for me. After my dad left, I decided to call Nikki's husband. I was a nervous wreck. What if she was there? What if he was going to curse me out? When he picked up, I just let it all out, which I regret. I should have been more careful. He sounded confused, but he listened as I explained everything, including Nikki's problems. I was expecting him to defend her, but instead, he let out a long sigh. It turned out, he already knew something wasn't right. His sister had been telling him things Nikki said, and it had caused a big rift between them. His sister didn't even attend their wedding. I apologized to him, telling him he needed to make things right with his sister because Nikki was the problem, not her. He thanked me and hung up. I'm not sure what he'll do with that information, but I hope he cuts his losses. He seemed like a good guy, and even he's lost his sister because of Nikki. As for me, I've decided to give my dad a chance. He's been through a lot with my mom and Nikki, and I think he's serious about making things right. But my mom? I don't think I'll ever reconcile with her. She still thinks Nikki is a victim in all of this, and at this point, I can't deal with her excuses anymore. If she reaches out, I'll update you guys. As for my ex, I haven't had time to meet him yet. My dad mentioned he wanted to come with him, but I told him it would be too much. He also mentioned that my ex was arrested for assaulting Nikki's friend, the one who lied. He was charged, but the charges were dropped a few days later. I'll update when I have the chance to talk to him. Thanks to everyone who's been listening. It's been hard to keep this inside for so long.